Hey MaxWeb team, my name is Eli Cohen. I'm here to have a presentation for you about native ad optimization strategies and tips. This is the presentation that's going to be recorded and going live on the 23rd of November of this month. Thanks for taking the time to watch and learn from me. My name is Eli. I've been buying media on native since 2017, primarily in the direct response world, mostly for affiliate offers and direct response offers in the health, finance, survival, and lead gen verticals on native specifically. I've spent media, I bought media on pretty much every native network within the native world. Outbrain, Taboola, Rev Content specifically, Content.ad, MGID, and Yahoo Gemini. So let's go forward. These are my optimization tips and strategies for people who are new or are buying media already. Any one of these tips can help you improve your campaigns, and I'm happy to present and share. So thank you. All right. So the reality is that media buying is not easy. Buying media on cold traffic sources, specifically native, is tough. It's not easy. It's not getting easier. It's an advanced skill set that, when used properly, can be highly effective. But when you don't have the right strategies and tactics in place, it can really be hard. So the truth is that the odds are stacked against you. You're going up against other advertisers with huge budgets, with other brands that have massive budgets. They can afford to outbid you on certain placements. Not every advertiser is optimizing towards performance, unlike us who are affiliates and we're running on slimmer margins than they are, and we have to get a guaranteed return on our ad spend, otherwise we're going to be out of luck. So not every campaign is going to work. A lot of the publisher inventory is going to change. Offers can be seasonal. Some offers do well in Q4 versus the first quarter. Some offers do well in Q2. Sometimes there's a slump in the summer depending on which visitors are viewing certain websites. I mean, really it comes down to which publishers are going to be effective for your campaign or not. There's hot trends depending on the time of year. There's lead gen, Nutra, ecom, and there's different things you can do to stack the odds in your favor. And a few of those things I'll go through in this presentation here. Also, I recommend this to anyone who's newer or looking to add an additional income source by buying media on native for affiliate offers, is to set a budget and stick to it. Okay. And realistically, that budget you have, you're buying data, and you may lose some of it or a lot of it. You just have to get comfortable with that. But understand what you're doing is you're buying data and you're buying a skill set, and you're building your skills so that you can generate more income over time. So let's go move along here. All right. So overall, the real strategy to win with native ads is that your success with native is determined by your creative assets and optimization strategies. The optimization strategies is what we're going to go over in this presentation. You want your ads in front of the right eyeballs at the right time on the right publisher, browser, and funnel combination. Feeding the algorithm what it wants. Fresh content equals more clicks equals more conversions for you. And there's our baby who's winning, the success baby. You want the right clicks, because the right clicks that are pre-qualified are going to convert, and that's what's going to get you paid. So before you start any campaign, I highly recommend that you reach out to your account manager. If you're working with MaxWeb, they have an excellent team of account managers who will tell you which offers are performing well for certain verticals and traffic sources. You want to find the hottest offer for your vertical and make sure that it converts. Sometimes you can make a lower payout offer work better than a higher payout if the EPC is strong. So this is the big thing on native in any traffic source, really, is that if the offer converts, then you can send as much traffic as possible. And it's easier to optimize an offer that already converts. So you're just going to optimize different elements within the funnel that's going to improve the overall funnel EPC for you. If you're working with an offer that's just not converting that well, maybe the offer's old or the niche, the demographic isn't really on native, then it's going to be an uphill battle. So you want to see what other people are running. You want to see where they're sending a lot of volume, and you can as well. A few more tips are the average CPCs on native fluctuate depending on the quarter. So Q4, the competition is a bit higher because there's a lot of e-commerce brands and advertisers who are bidding for the same placements on the same publishers. So that may make it hard. Just understand the game that you're getting into. Make sure that you reinvest your cash flow back into your campaign so that you can continue purchasing ads. Weekly payments from the network helps, as MaxWeb will do. And it's very important to spy to see what other advertisers are running and where. Basically, if you use the benchmark of an advertiser is running an ad and a landing page and an offer combination on a traffic source to a certain list of publishers for a certain amount of time over 6 months to a year, that's working for them and that's making money. And you can emulate what they're running and use them for your campaigns. Moving on. So let's go over optimization and what it is. The definition of optimization is the action of making the best use or most effective use of a situation or resource. So in our case, we have time and money. That's really what we have. And that's really all anyone has in life is you have a certain amount of time and money. I believe that you there's basically an unlimited amount of money out there. You can find sources of money. You can use your job or your income source, your existing ad budget to purchase ad campaigns, to purchase ads on native, but you only have a certain amount of time, right? So you want to use your time as effectively as possible to be successful on native ads or successful purchasing media through native ads. And there's a specific skill set and strategies that you can use from this presentation that'll help you get there. All right, so the strategies to optimize into profitability. I have a bunch of bullets and some different points that I'll go through, but really what I want to explain to people is that your job as a media buyer on native specifically is to tell a story and then frame your offer as the solution to that story. And that story can be something around weight loss. So really the big three are health, wealth, and relationships. Health can be weight loss or nerve pain or going after someone who's already in pain or has an existing desire. You can call out that desire and then frame your offer as a solution to that problem. Same as wealth, if they're missing out on certain stocks and they want to get rich in a certain area. So this is really the framework that we're looking at. So optimization strategies and tactics are the secret sauce of success on native, and any advertising channel will have these as well. For us, it really just comes down to what are the benchmarks and the KPIs that you're looking at to make decisions, and don't fall in love with a losing campaign. That's a big thing. That's huge. And just consistently keep testing, and pick one traffic source and one offer in the beginning and try and make that work as much as you can. And this is what I say, you can't optimize a poor offer. If the traffic source doesn't convert for one offer, find one that does. So different traffic sources will have different types of publisher inventory that converts for different styles of offers. Some offers from MaxWeb for maybe survival or sweepstakes may convert better on one native network than another. So that's where it comes down to really work with your CPA network rep. And if you have a rep at the traffic source, work with them as well, and they'll help you as much as they can. You can also split test offer variants from different CPA networks, or you could possibly go direct to the advertiser for a payout bump. What I recommend is you can test the same offer on different networks and see which one converts better. Sometimes one network converts better than another one based on their tech on the back end, or they're tracking more conversions. Their server could be updated quicker. It really depends, and you don't know. And sometimes this can make up 10 to 20% on your campaign. It can really add up. Also, you want to make sure that you get extremely clear in your niche, the goals, and the KPIs for that offer. If your offer has let's say a $70 payout, and the EPC is $1.25, then you need to make sure that your CPC for your campaign, for your bids, is below that. Okay, if you want to be profitable. Also, don't always focus on the highest payout offer, focus on the highest EPC. And I'll take a lower payout offer with a higher EPC, and you can push volume. And this is a big point as well for people once you get to a certain level in native ads and any traffic source really is, don't exactly focus on spending less to get a higher ROI. The majority of the large players in this space, they really make their money sending large volume. And that's the way that any business works, honestly. If you look at Walmart or Amazon or any of these large retailers, any large company, they're interested in volume because they can leverage economies of scale. When you have economies of scale, you can make improvements and you can lock in margins. So this is what I say. I'd optimize for volume instead of high ROI campaigns. Of course, I mean, if there's a large ROI campaign, I'll take it. If you're spending $500 a day and you're making back $1,500, then I'll take that all day. But how can you scale your campaign from $500 a day to 1,000 a day and still make back another $1,000. And you want to bank as much profit as you can. So I gladly spend $100,000 USD at 20% margins, then $500 50% margins. You really just want to scale as much as you can. If there's an opportunity to max out as much as you can, optimizing is how you can get there. And I talked about A/B testing because that's extremely important to do so. So we're going to move along here. We want to make sure that you optimize your bids effectively. So the overall strategy for your campaigns is when you set your campaigns, make sure that the bid is competitive. You're competing against other advertisers. You want as much traffic as you possibly can. For Taboola and Outbrain, setting your bid to semi-bid on Taboola and semi-automatic on Outbrain makes use of the algorithm. So the algorithm is basically going to score your ads in comparison to the other advertisers, and it's going to make your bid, it's going to adjust your bid so it's competitive and you're still getting a certain amount of impression share compared to others on the network. So this is where you want to start. You don't want to bid too high. I wouldn't recommend bidding $1 to start because that can really limit how much data you're buying. And I wouldn't recommend bidding too low. You want to find the right sweet spot. You can also work with the reps at your traffic sources to help you figure out what that sweet spot is. Also with Rev content, I recommend a higher bid and a lower daily budget. So for desktop, you could bid between 55 to 65 cents. And really initially you want to score your ads high for the algorithm so that the algorithm will serve more of your ads and you'll receive more impressions from qualified publishers. And also we want to make sure that in the beginning we're getting enough traffic so the traffic is going through our whole funnel and we're seeing some conversion so we can buy some data and figure out which publishers are converting well, which ads are performing well, and which landing pages are performing well. And in this presentation, I'm going to go over a few different things around optimizing ads, landing pages, and your offers within your campaigns. All right, so a few ad optimization tips are you typically want to start with between 5 to 10 ads. And I like to test different angles. So I'll test different images and headlines. I'll take a look at what's already running. I'll come up with variations. And then I'll also match, let's say we test 8 different ads and 2 different landing pages and 1 offer page. On those 2 different landing pages, I will test different angles that match what's on the ads. Okay, and the ads that we have here, they're a little bit more clickbaity. Like that's what we really want to do. We want to grab as much attention as we possibly can, but still frame the user into our campaign. So you call them out and you use an image that will grab their attention, but still pique their interest and say, oh, hey, that's an interesting thing. So this is what my recommendations are to consistently test until you find a winner. We're going to test multiple angles and ads in the beginning until we find something that works. We want to look for early traction. Early traction is going to be signs of engagement and interest, which is a high CTR, a lot of clicks. Also, the more clicks you get, the higher your CTR, the more the algorithm is going to serve your ads. So you'll get more impressions. We also, in the beginning, if we can find any ad that's generating at least 1 to 3 conversions at target CPA or below, then we're going to scale that one and make duplicates. We can aim for as high as a CTR as possible. Ideally 0.5, it would be amazing. Ad CTR depends on different different device types as well. We want to look for quirky images that are attention grabbers as well. So these could be cartoons, animated images. I also recommend people to test GIFs on Taboola and Outbrain and Rev content as well. These are like under 50 megabytes. These are small 1 to 3 second animations. And the ideal metrics are high click-through rate and high EPC. So when we look at the overall funnel in our tracking software, we can see which ads have certain EPCs, and that's earnings per click if you're not familiar with that. The higher the EPC on your offer, the more you can bid. And this is where it comes down to you want to have a funnel that has the highest EPC possible so you can have a high bid, you receive more clicks and more impressions from other advertisers, and you're still making your margins. All right, so we've got some publisher optimization tips. From my perspective, this is really what makes or breaks campaigns on native. And the publisher optimization strategies are initially, you want to find which publishers are going to convert well for you. And some of those publishers are going to be lower tier and lower grade. So make sure that you work with your reps at the different traffic sources to make sure that you're serving ads on top tier publishers. It depends on the geo as well. So if you're running ads in the UK, you may not know what their top publishers are, so you can work with the traffic source rep to understand which those are and how to optimize your bids effectively. Also, certain publishers will have different EPCs when they convert well. So some publishers you can have a much higher bid and still stay profitable than others. Initially, we really just want to figure out which ones are converting well and which ones aren't. And then we can use rules to optimize bids effectively to make sure that we're still profitable. I highly recommend using whitelists and blacklists. You can ask your traffic source rep for a blacklist or a whitelist for your specific vertical. Outbrain and Taboola will both supply these. And also, a big thing that I recommend is matching the offer to the publisher. Now, you can have a health offer and say, all right, I'll accept traffic from any publisher as long as it converts. However, if you actually spend enough money to buy data, you'll see a trend. Certain publishers, which are websites, certain publishers are based around certain topics, have content, and you want to match your assets and your campaigns to the content on those publishers. And we can optimize our bids effectively based on your KPIs and metrics. We really want to watch your publisher EPC. And you can do so in the traffic source, in the reporting section, and on your tracker as well. So this is really what it comes down to, is that there's not really a one-size-fits-all rule when you're optimizing your publishers. It's really just comes down to some publishers are going to be lower quality, some publishers are going to be higher quality. And really the rule that I've seen is kind of a 80-20 rule. Like 80% of your results will come from 20% of your publishers, and you need to stay consistent and stick with this to figure out which of those publishers are going to convert well for you. Moving along here. So I've got some landing page optimization tips. Landing pages can really make or break your campaigns as well. So this is what I'm saying is it's kind of like baking a cake. You need the right ingredients. You want the right ads served on the right publishers. You want those clicks going from those ads on those correct publishers to your landing pages. And you want to make sure those landing pages convert well. There's different elements you can test on those landing pages. And what I highly recommend doing is using landing pages that are already running. If there's a format that's already running for a specific vertical and niche, then I would just grab that and test that. You can also make variations of the format of those landing pages. So some of those landing pages may have images of middle-aged females or middle-aged males or different call to actions and different buttons on there, or formatted for mobile. They may have different font sizes. They may be optimized for different device types. They may look like an actual news website, right? So there's a few different things you can test. Ideally, you have a landing page CTR, which is a landing page click-through rate of above 20%. If it's lower than that, then there's a disconnect. And we want to test and split test different elements on the landing page to make sure that we have a high CTR and qualified users are landing on the offer page. And this is what I recommend. You can also place pixels on your landing pages and track visitors there. There's heat mapping and click mapping software that you can see how long people have landed there and how long they stay on and how they interact with the page. We can also split test images, headlines, angles, and call to actions on the landing page itself. It's really what we want to do. So we're testing and coming up with new images and new variations to figure out which landing page style converts well. And also I recommend calling out the user and the main demographic. So if you have men aged 55 plus who want to improve their heart health, then I recommend using that in your image and your headlines. All right, moving along. So some of this content is going to be from my previous presentation with MaxWeb, but it's still good. It's still solid. These are general rules that I like to use and anyone can use. And also, if anyone has recommendations on what they like to use, please share it with the community. It's super helpful because we can all help each other. So the overall strategy when you're optimizing on native, in the beginning, you really don't know. You don't exactly know what's going to convert well for you. I highly recommend if you have a limited budget in the beginning, spy on what other people are running, test tightly, test like 6 images, 2 landing pages to 1 offer page. If you have larger budgets, you can test maybe 12 images, 3 landing pages, and 2 different offer pages if you wish. Also, I highly recommend setting specific rules in the beginning. You can use a few different third-party optimization tools and softwares to help you do this. If the publishers don't convert at all after spending at least 1x to 2x the CPA, then you can bid down. So also, you want to have a blend of publishers that serve your ads and publishers that convert. So some of your publishers will have a decent CTR, but they won't convert. So you don't exactly want to block them, but you can bid them down by 99% with certain tools. And generally my goal is 2x the CPA, no conversions, I'll block it. If the budget's really tight, I'll do 1.5x the CPA. And at this stage, you're building your whitelist and your blacklists. We want to identify and build this really quickly. This is really what's going to make your campaign successful or not. We can also sift out the good publishers from the bad ones quickly. You can take a look under your publishers and publishers section breakdown on your traffic source to see, okay, which publishers am I serving ads on, which of them are quality, which of them are decent. Also, reach out to the community and see what other people are seeing success with. And some networks won't let you whitelist like Rev Content, so you have to use a reverse blacklist. And I recommend blocking every publisher in that campaign except the one you want to serve your ads on. You can use tools to help you automate this. I also recommend, so basically there's different kinds of campaigns. You have like discovery campaigns and then like performance campaigns. So the discovery campaigns are usually broad, run of network or topic interest campaigns, and they're going to serve your ads on different websites that fall under certain topics. So we're using those to identify which publishers are converting well, and then we can take those publisher IDs and pop them into whitelists. And that's really your discovery campaigns. That's where the majority of your budget is going to be. So if you say like a percentage of your ad budget is going to go towards this discovery campaigns, and then you'll make it back on your performance campaigns, that's the right strategy that works. And I really just want to focus on keeping your ad CTR on target. So you have these discovery campaigns, you have ads that convert, that are generating decent CTRs, and some of the ads that convert. So you want to duplicate your campaigns, figure out which ads and which headline and image combinations have high engagement, and then we'll duplicate those into new content and set new campaigns. Every 2 to 4 days, I'll refresh content in certain campaigns and see which ones really take off. We want to focus on keeping our ad CTR on target, and your campaigns are graded on a quality score by the algorithm. That quality score is determined by bid times the ad CTR. The stronger the bid, the higher the ad CTR equals more clicks for you, and it also lowers your CPC. The algorithm will score your ad against others, and if you have a strong quality score, your bid may actually be less. So you can receive more traffic and more clicks than your competition. All right, additional optimization steps. Early on, we're going to identify if your funnel's generated conversions and prune off losing ads, landing pages, and offer versions. I mean, really, you don't know until you test. So we're looking for it, and the way that it's going to come down to is we're going to have a handful of ads that convert and maybe 1 or 2 landing pages that work really well. Once you have that identified, you can bump your bids, and you want to just make sure that your funnel has a high overall EPC. So it really just all comes down to around how strong your offer converts, and then we can go from there. So in your stats and your tracker, pause any ads that are generating 0 conversions after spending at least 1x the CPA. I typically find 1 or 2 ads and 1 landing page variant that's really working well. After you have your baseline metrics for your funnel, I call it the funnel and creative conversion metrics, you can open up the floodgates of traffic, and that's when you can bump your bids as high as possible. So we want to max out traffic on publishers that are working well for us. And if you think of it as a rushing river, it's fed by smaller bodies of water that converge together and end in a waterfall. That's really the way it works. Your success will come down to the 95-5 rule. 95% of your results will come from 5% of your publishers, especially on certain large publishers like MSN or CNN or CNBC or these large news portals. It can work really well once you have your funnel dialed in. And this is the way it works. So when you figure out what the ad network algorithm wants, you can flood your offers with traffic, make the CPA network and advertiser very happy. And this is how everyone wins. So moving on, there's a few different strategies as well that I highly recommend. I'll leave this slide up. So we're going to look at the ad, the landing page, and the offer page. That combination is going to help us win or not. There's a few different things we can also do. We can look at optimizations by time of day. We can optimize browsers, operating system versions, device types. So we really just break it down. All of this data is in your tracker. And for me, a lot of what I've seen is for the VSL style offers. Everything can convert. Every traffic source, every traffic type can convert. It just depends on on the funnel, really. So I like to break out my campaigns by device type and operating system. So you can have a campaign for mobile iOS, you can have a campaign for mobile Android, tablet iOS, tablet Android, desktop. You can break it out by browser if you wish. Initially I leave it broad, and then just make sure that you're optimizing based on rules. Really, everything is just coming down to what the data tells you, right? You can spend $1,000 and make back 200, and then look into your data and say, okay, well, where did I spend? How much did I spend? What worked and what didn't? And then what we want to do is drill down and make a decision based on what actually worked. So this is the hard part for some people. If you're new and you're spending a certain amount, and let's say you spent $1,000 and you made back 100, well, there could be a disconnect somewhere. And this is what I said back in the beginning of the presentation. Have a certain amount of ad spend that you're willing to lose buying data, and then just look for certain publishers that are working for you. And also you want to make sure that your funnel is actually converting. So when you see other funnels that are running at scale and everyone is using the same ad style, the same landing page style to the same type of offer, and that's typically what works. So based on that funnel that's working, then you can make optimizations. And there are tools and tips that will help you do this. You don't have to do everything manually. In the beginning, you can do things manually, but as you learn and build your skills, then you can automate a certain amount of things. And that's what I lay out here. And really what I want to be clear on is that there is no rule that will work every time for every campaign. You have to apply them intelligently and effectively. And we're really hunting for profitable combinations of data. A winning campaign is a converting funnel. Within that converting funnel is the right ad, landing page, and offer combination. Plus, within those winning ads, you have high CTR ads and you have high converting publishers. And that's what we're looking for. We're looking to find the gold, and we have to dig through the data to find it. Now, a few other tips that I recommend. Day parting is huge. You can day part with rules. You can run campaigns from, say, 8 a.m. EST to 8 p.m. EST. That's when a lot of people are online and clicking. At nighttime as well, it can get tough. Now, it's not a general rule all the time. Some campaigns can convert, like lead gen campaigns and different things like that. Or if you're doing a pay-per-call campaign or a sweepstakes offer and people have to call to submit, to call towards like a call center or something. So just base your optimizations and your framework around the realities of your campaigns and the data that you see. All right. So additional strategies here. Once you've identified campaigns that are winning for you, if you have a campaign that has a positive ROI and your EPC is strong, then you want to max out as much as you can within reason. You can scale vertically, which is more campaigns on the same network, and you can bump your bids as much as possible and bump your budget. So if a campaign is making $500 a day in profit, then why not bump your budget by 50% or 100%? But do this intelligently. Make sure that you're not going to break the bank. So you can also add more publishers, add more device types, open up as much as you can. Some networks, the smaller ones, will max out the inventory available to you. This can happen. You just want to make sure that your funnel is converting still, and you can scale horizontally, which means port your campaigns to other ad networks. So typically, if you figure it out, ads and headlines and images that work and landing pages that work and the offer pages that work for you, then you can port those campaigns to other networks. You are going to need to identify new publishers to blacklist and whitelist. However, if your campaign is working, if your funnel is working, then it's going to take less time. So you can buy a ton of traffic. It's your job to keep profitable campaigns cranking for as long as you can. Some advanced strategies are direct-to-site buys, where you can cut out the network. This takes a larger budget. I don't recommend in the beginning, but it certainly can work. And this is the deal. So your main focus as a media buyer is to build a portfolio of profitable campaigns. Not every campaign is going to win. Some will be crappy, some will be okay. But if you get it right and stick with it, one campaign can be, life-changing. And that's really what I want to come across for the audience here, is that you have to stick with this. It's not easy. Traffic sources come and go, campaigns come and go, offers come and go, but your strategies, your optimization strategies, and your testing strategies really is going to make or break your success with native. All right. And that's pretty much it. So I wanted to thank you all for joining me. Again, my name is Eli. I've been a media buyer for several years now, and I'm interested in connecting with more media buyers and affiliates and advertisers in our space. It's a great industry to be in. It's only going to improve and increase. We're only going to see more ad dollars come online. Native networks are going to continue to grow. And I'm happy to be part of a growing and intelligent community. Thanks again.